So I did not have Diddy being in jail on my bingo card in 2024. And the crazy thing is they turned down his bail. So like this says here, um, yesterday, his team had proposed a $50 million bail co-signed by his family, secured by equity with his Miami properties. Travel is restricted to specific districts, and his passport, along with his family and children's, has been surrendered following raids of his home. So the area had the passports, and he was offering $50 million. But the feds was like, no, we don't want your 50 million. And I was like, you know what, man? This country, we got a lot of homeless people. That 50 million could help a whole lot of people. But I say, no, we don't need your money. I say, geez, Jiminy Christmas. So Sean's in jail. The crazy thing about this whole story, there's a lot of craziness, like the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I don't know what that's about. But the craziness of the story was a year ago, Sean Diddy Combs was at the VMAs, and he was received a Global Icon Award. He received the Global Icon Award from MTV last year, and flash forward a year later, now he's in the jail cell. It's crazy. And the messed up thing about Combs is that Combs had a great story, you know, because I witnessed the whole thing. Like, I know the story. I've seen him be the student at Howard University who used to throw parties, and then he got an internship through Heavy D at Uptown Records, and he would go back and forth on the train between DC and New York to be an intern there. And then he became VP of Uptown, where he launched Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, and then Andre Harrell fires him from Uptown. Then he starts Bad Boy Records on a shoestring budget, where they did a ton of guerrilla marketing things, which was amazing. Because they had this Big Mac thing, when they had like the old Big Mac Big Mac holder, and inside that it was a Big Mac, and inside it was a mixtape of Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack. Like, it was just brilliant marketing he was doing back then. And then Bad Boy blows up, and then you had Sean John, and you have Ciroc, and all these things. Like, it was a great American story. But surrounding that story, there was always darkness around Combs, and I think his life would have changed drastically back in 1991, there was a basketball game at City College. Sean sold tickets to that game, oversold tickets. People got trampled. 9 people got trampled and died. And he never really took responsibility. He said he felt sad about it, but there was no jail time, no anything. Like, I don't think he meant for people to die, but he created an atmosphere where people ended up dying because the tickets were oversold, and people were forcing their way into the arena. But I think if he even went to jail for a few months from that, saying like, hey, we know you didn't mean this, but this did happen, I think this would have changed things for him. Because after that moment, it's like whatever he did, he got off. Shyne, like the shooting in the club where Diddy was there with Jennifer Lopez and Shyne, and the woman got shot, and Shyne ends up going to prison for 10 years and then getting deported. But now he's like a successful politician believes. So in some ways it worked out for Shyne, but still, he still went to jail for 10 years and got deported. Never happened to Sean. Sean allegedly hit Steve Stout in the head with a bottle. Got anger management courses. Like, it's just everything over the years, like things kept on happening, and nothing would happen. Even the footage that we've seen recently with Cassie in the hotel where he beat her. Evidently, the hotel saw it, and security had the tape, but they didn't do anything with it. And this, the sad thing is, it's not just Combs. This happens all the time. People with money do horrible things, and security or the hotel kills the tape, or they delete the tape, and nothing happens. I'm sure right now some rich person someplace in the world is going to do something horrible, and people know about it, and nothing's going to happen. So the question is, like, when is trial going to start? Because New York moves really slow on these things, and the Batman 2 comes out in 2026. In theory, it shouldn't take that long, but Sean Combs might be just sitting in prison for a long time until this case. It might be late 2025 or early 2026 when this thing actually starts. The one charge I don't like in this case, and I felt this way about the R. Kelly case, I don't like the racketeering RICO things. I don't like that charge in these cases because those things were used for mobsters. Back in the day, you would charge a mobster and his crew, and you would see like footage of a mobster being handcuffed to a bunch of other mobsters and being led to jail. RICO and racketeering was for criminal organizations. mobsters, gangs. You know, when John Gotti got arrested, it wasn't just John Gotti; it was a crew of people. I don't know. Just like what they said about R. Kelly, same thing with Diddy. I don't think these guys are running criminal organizations. They were just bad dudes. You know, if that was the case, there'll be a bunch of people that would have been arrested with R. Kelly, but that never happened. And the same thing with Diddy. There would be a ton of people that would be arrested with Diddy. Yeah, some people might be arrested, but I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot of people. Um, and I just don't believe that he's. I don't like RICO charges for individuals. I just don't. I just feel like with all the sex trafficking and the guns and the drugs we have in this country, we should be hearing about RICO charges all over the place on a regular basis. Illegal betting. We should every other month we should hear about RICO charges and racketeering against some organization, but we never hear it. Yet sex trafficking still happens and drugs still happens and guns still happen. So there's that. So the interesting thing is, as bad as Sean is, there's still horrible people out there. Like Jeffrey Epstein. Like Jeffrey Epstein allegedly died in prison, and we never knew who's on that list. They say on Epstein Island there was this list. Well, who's on the list? Like we still don't know. Why? Because there's a lot of people who got a lot of power who don't want those names out. It's easy to say, oh, Combs is a horrible person. Yeah, we know he's a horrible person. But what about the people that was on that island? They're still doing the same stuff. Right this weekend, sadly, there's someone that was either Epstein Island or just somebody else who's been doing their own freak off parties. Combs been doing these freak off parties for years. And there's somebody this weekend's going to be doing the same thing. Or even worse. And nothing's ever going to happen to them. Like Stephen A. Smith was saying, like, well, Hollywood needs to be scared because of what happened to Diddy. It's like, I don't think so. I think there might be a few people who might be scared. Like, I think there might be a few hip hop and R&B people who should be kind of scared at the moment. But I thought after Me Too, there was going to be a ton of executives that was going to get fired or prosecuted for sexual harassment. And it didn't happen. It was like Matt Lauer and a handful of dudes. It just kind of like, yeah, we're going to get these guys. It's like, after a while, it's like, what happened? You know, you can't tell me that in these corporations, there one dudes that was doing sexual harassment, but nothing ever happened. There's a lot of guys who are just living just fine, and they survived Me Too. Sometimes justice is picky, and I just don't like that stuff. But as far as Weinstein and that list goes, we'll probably find out. Epstein. We'll probably find that list out, 30 years from now? Like when everybody's like really old, like people are passed away and dead. Or they're just really old. We'll probably finally get that Epstein list probably, what's 30 years from now? Like 2059? Like 2054, we'll probably finally get that list. I don't know. So what do you think is going to happen to Combs? Do you think all these charges are going to stick? You know? I feel like people knew what he was doing for years, but he was making money. As long as he made money for the music industry, as long as he making money in the fashion industry, as long as he making money for the liquor industry, everything was cool. People looked the other way. But I think the last straw was Revolt. Revolt never became BET or never became MTV. And I think when Revolt didn't become the cash cow that Combs always enjoyed in music and fashion and all that stuff, I think the powers that be said, well, he's no longer an earner. It's time. Let's go get him. Same thing happened to R. Kelly. When Trey Songz went ahead of R. Kelly like in the early 2010s, because Trey basically took R. Kelly's sound. When R. Kelly wasn't writing hits anymore, that's when we got to Surviving R. Kelly and all this other stuff. Before that, as far as R. Kelly was writing hits, people said, yeah, I mean, he went to court, he got off. You know, we know the tape's out there. We seen the tape. As long as he's writing hits, we don't care. But as soon as Kel stops writing hits, let's go get him. So, cautionary tale for people out there. If you're doing some horrible things that you shouldn't be doing, don't think you're protected. Because sooner or later, once you stop being that top earner, they're going to come after you. And in Sean's case, you had more than enough chances, my man, to kind of get your life together. After Big Guy, you could have got your life together. After the whole thing with Shyne, you could have done it. But it seems like he just got worse and worse. Power corrupts, man. And it doesn't matter if you're a global icon or the guy in the bus. You just can't keep on doing horrible things and think you're going to get away with it. Shouldn't have happened this way. He had a great story, and he destroyed it due to his own ego.